and it'll be the start of the program. Welcome, everybody. It's Thursday evening edition of the Rocci Stucci Show. 5 minutes of signing in, just a little early here, just getting the show set up here. Kind of a lot of technical things to go over a little bit tonight. I noticed my bass was a little high. I'm okay with that, though. Hope everybody's well. Hope everybody is well. Check in 1, 2. That's kind of why I do it, too. I do all my check in 1, 2. I see it. I see it in the rain. All right, we're good. Systems check. 1, 2. There we go. That's hot. We're good there. Yesterday, thought I was hooking up a little bit. I thought I was going to go a little early. Clicked at, at 10:02. I thought I clicked at 10:02. And I ended up talking for 10 minutes thinking that somebody was listening and nobody was listening. All right. We are solid and rocking and rolling. All right. I had to adjust my microphone. Ron Phillips got a hold of me yesterday and yelled at me a little bit. I guess apparently last night I was having audio issues that were going up and down a little bit. And then I had the video issue. And if I had the video issue again, somebody let me know. Stat. We got the quick fix for that. I don't know what causes it because everything showed good on my end. Everything showed it was still going. But for some reason, the signal to YouTube, it took a kaplooey. So, yeah, we're going to get going here. Let me see. We got about 2.5 minutes. About 2.5 minutes before showtime. Surveillance state. Boy, I tell you, we went from like 0 to 1,000. Just overnight, we're like, boom, surveillance bitches, everybody. I mean, didn't even see them putting them in, So we got about 2 minutes. Maybe. Yeah, about 2 minutes. And we'll go live. Audio's looking good. My DBX is looking good. Bunch of stuff going on over in Cape Coral. People are pissed, as they should be. And I hope I see this in every single county, every single town, every single city. I hope sooner or later that we can, just stop fighting against one another and go after this bullshit, man. It's wild. It's kind of freaking me out a little bit. It's kind of freaking me out because all the conspiracies have become true. And I think by design, psychologically, they weren't supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Whew. Okay, we got about a minute. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. If you're just signing in right now, just scoot forward about a minute. Just scoot forward until you see the show banner, and then you know that it's about showtime. Still got a little bit of trauma from last night's show talking about the alien abduction where the alien had sex with a guy and the guy has a kid out there in space somewhere. He's like the first guy in history that I know of that sooner or later is going to have a child show up at his door and just be like, nanu, daddy, what's up, bitch? And I wonder if aliens would want child support. I wonder if child support exists in their existence. I don't know. These are questions that come up when I talk about these things. It's what 9/11 started. Oh, John Rodriguez. It's, bro, I tell you something. Yeah, the Patriot Act, you start thinking that's, dude, that's a good point. That's a good point because, you start going back and you start thinking of the what do they call that? The boiling frog effect. You know what I'm saying? Dude, I tell you, none of this was supposed to come true. All this was supposed to be just conspiracy talk, just good radio stuff. You know what I'm saying, brother? All right, I think we're about ready to go. Yep, 7 o'clock. Let's rock and roll. Let's get things going. Appreciate you guys. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. All right, here we go. honestly, honestly, that was pretty loud in my ears, and I don't know if it was loud on your side. But folks, welcome to the program. This Thursday edition of the Rocci Stucci Show. Thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. You remember back in the days when we were having a little bit of fun, and we would sit there and we talk about, the what was it in China? They have the point system. So if you walk past a piece of trash on the garbage and you don't pick it up and throw it away, boom, there's people out there. You know what I'm saying? There were people out there with the boards, and they had the camera systems, and we just thought it was such an atrocity. We were so disgusted, and we were so proud that we didn't have to deal with that because we lived in such a free country. And unfortunately, folks, it has come to America, and it has happened so quick that we didn't even give it a chance. We didn't even give it a chance to actually survive. I'm going to turn my mic up just a little bit. We didn't give it a chance to survive. We didn't even notice it. And John, in the chat room, he made a comment. It started during 9/11. And think about it for real. You had the implementation of the implementation of the Patriot Act. A lot of the surveillance stuff that kind of gave a lot of these institutions, these agencies, a little bit more power. And now, what was that one where if somebody has suspicion of you being kind of a little cuckoo or kind of like just having some issues in life, that they could come and just do a courtesy check on you and take all your guns and take all your ammunition. That's the scary stuff. That's the stuff that I worry about. But so I think we have reached that point. And the greatest question that I've had is that when did all this? I mean, I didn't even see anybody putting anything up. It's like we went from zero to surveillance state literally overnight. And I'm not just talking about, this is not just in cities. This is just not in cities. This is in backwoods. This is at like fishing spots in the middle of nowhere. It's near gun ranges. As a matter of fact, I was talking with Lisa today, and she was telling me about this one guy who was a former sheriff. And as a former sheriff, what he did was he was talking about these surveillance, and I guess apparently near these gun ranges, there's a couple different cameras. One of them is getting the license plates and getting all your information, and the other one is getting the facial recognition. Which, why and what's the motive with that, right? What's the motive with the around all the gun ranges, right? Obviously, we know what that is. We obviously know what that is. But John says that we have had that in place, Rocky. The problem is that our tax system now, that they're just making it more prevalent to our eyes. That's a valid point. Did they have all these cameras, this new system? I get what you're saying, brother. I really do. And I'm at a point right now that all this has come down so quick that I am literally I feel like I'm catching up, man. I do. I feel like I'm catching up. I feel like I still don't even know a ton about everything. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where I've been. I honestly, I don't know where I've been. I thought I've been in the know, and we've heard things, and it's like I guess we got so caught up in fighting over data centers that this whole time that they've been just doing this stuff. I don't know, but I got some interesting statistics. We'll go over that. And then another thing is I want to hear from all of you. And so I'll run through a bunch of what I can, because I'm kind of educating myself through this process along with everybody else. And hopefully by the end of this program, we'll have a little bit better of understanding, So, but I appreciate you guys. This is the Rocci Stucci Show. Visit the website. It is stuccimedia.com, stuccicreations.com, website design, anything you need, any kind of graphics, audio, production, video, editing, whatever it is that you need. We are one-stop shop at stuccicreations.com. Stop there, check it out, send me a message, let me know what you need. I appreciate you, man. I really do. So I'm going to pull up some data here. Because I'm trying to come prepared, and I'm trying to bring some information on this. Why is that doing that? There we go. And so I'm just going to start out with a couple points of data in regards to statistics. So we have right here the top 5 states, and nobody publishes really a clean state-by-state camera count ranking. So we kind of did the best we can, and some of our research trying to obtain this information. So this is what we got. This is what we got in regards to states, and then we'll break it down to city. right? I'm going to start out just like that. We're going to start out with the state, the most popular state, and then we'll break it down by the city in regards to these camera systems, right? Washington State has 76 jurisdictions running active flock networks. Washington State. What's up, Miss Mary Mansfield? Washington State has 76 jurisdictions running active flock networks. All right. Massachusetts has 80. They have 80 local police departments contracted with flock. See now, okay, so now these are police departments, right? They're not, I mean, I know we've had the license plates, cameras, and I know they're all over here in Florida. So if you run a red light, it'll take a picture and they'll send you a ticket in the mail. And, maybe that was the test run. Maybe that was the test run because we never combined that, did we? And then we started hearing about the cars. And then we kind of got super angry about that. And then we open our eyes and now this is like a point of conversation. It's literally a catastrophic conversation in our country right now. So Massachusetts, so here, let me start over. Washington State, 76 jurisdictions running active flock networks. Massachusetts has 80 local police departments contracted with flock. Massachusetts has 80 police departments contracted to use the flock systems. Good old Wisconsin. Wisconsin has seen flock spread across 3,000 plus cities. Wow. No, that ain't right. That's coming across wrong. They don't have 3,000 plus cities nationwide as part of a broader rollout. Let me see what's it. This is wrong here with this information here on Wisconsin. But Wisconsin is number 3. California is the most litigated state right now. The Gibbs Mora class action, San Jose ICE, CBT or CBP axis controversy, and cities like Oakland, San Francisco, Mountain View, and El Cerrito, all pulling contracts. So for a fact California is going to be completely loaded with them. And then Georgia, where Flock is headquartered. They're headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. Also happens to be home of the single most surveilled city in our country per capita. So the number one surveilled city as we speak right now is Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia is the ones like you can't go take a poop out in public and not get caught. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's where we're at. So those are, you have Washington State, Massachusetts, Wisconsin, California, and Georgia. Those are the 5 top states right now that have these flock systems. And I need to say this, man. We need to be diligent on this. This is making me really uncomfortable. We've talked about this. I couldn't tell you on the Situation Room. We've talked about this on Abnormal Realities. We talked about this on the Rocci Stucci Show. We talked about it on all these shows all over the place, all the time. We talked about how disgusting it was in China with the point system. If you go under a certain amount of points, you can't go on a bus. You can't go on certain restaurants. You can't travel. You can't go on trains. You can't go on planes. So they're literally dictating behavior because I don't know, maybe the whole religious lead by, enslave people by a fear of going against your faith or whatever it is, right? This is the scariest I've seen our situation ever. Really, it really is when it comes to the surveillance state. We've been talking, Alex Jones, he's been talking about it for 20 years. For 20 years. She said, Mary says, I'm quite surprised that the People's Republic of Illinois isn't on that list. Well, that was just the top 5. That was just, now you make me want to go and do a state by state. Mary, dang, don't make me do extra work. But Chicago is going to be on that list. Chicago is up there somewhere. But and I got a couple videos and I got some information about some things that are going on in Cape Coral where people are pissed. I mean, they're pissed because somebody said in Cape Coral, Florida, that you are guilty until proven innocent. That is going to be the new mentality, so it's just like, where exactly does this Constitution exist anymore? Right? Where does it exist when it comes to the system? And that's another thing too. Is citizen journalism. You guys ever see those videos of citizen journalists where really, I don't know what they're doing. but they're actually kind of pissing me off a little bit because I just think they're agitators. You know, they go out and they stand on corners and they just start recording people. They go in front of a business and they just start recording people going in and out of a business for no reason. And I think that they do that to agitate. I don't know if it's for the clicks. I don't know if it's just for social media. I don't know if it's for a distraction. And same thing with those Meta glasses. So it's just like everywhere you go, man, somebody is getting you on film. I'm on film right now. I'm inside of a location and I'm on film right now. There's a camera right there pointing right at me. So it's like everywhere you go, you're somebody's watching you. Does privacy exist? Legitimate question. Throw it to the table. Somebody help me out. Does privacy even exist anymore? And does our privacy even matter anymore? And where's our privacy going to be in the next 10 years? Where's our privacy going to be in the next 20 years? You know, we may seem being pissed off. We may seem like a radical element just because we're talking about this and because, you know, maybe it's change. No, this is dangerous fucking change, man. This is dangerous change. We have other time studies. We can look at other countries that are doing this. You know what I mean? And if we're so willing to talk or discuss in regards to other countries doing it, then we better get pissed off, and we better get pissed off real quick. And I'm not promoting lighting shit up on fire. There's plenty of other people that'll do that. But we need to, at a legal point, really, really start putting an end to this. So now let me break this down to the 5 cities. And I already called one out on accident. Sorry about that. You know, can't believe I did that. Didn't even realize I was doing it. So let's talk about that, right? And folks, please, I do appreciate the shares. This here is a video. It's a live recording. So what I do when I do these shows is the next day I push out the podcast. The audio side does much better for me. And I appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out when I do this. It actually, you know, your comments kind of help me out sometimes when I start running a little dry in the brain. You know what I mean? But yeah, so you guys can also, I'm on every podcast platform everywhere. You can go ahead and just look up the Rocci Stucci Show, just Google it. And it's on iTunes, it's on iHeart, it's on Amazon, it's everywhere. It's on all the major podcast platforms. So you can go listen and just hang out while you're driving or at work and put your earplugs in, you know. But here are the 5 cities with the most. Atlanta, Georgia, obviously I already gave that away. As it being one of the states, it's the headquarters. Atlanta, Georgia is the headquarters for this flock system. They have 124 cameras per 1,000 people. 124 cameras per 1,000 people. That's quite a bit. That's literally, you can't do anything anywhere without being monitored by this system. Washington, D.C. has 55.5 cameras per 1,000 people. Philadelphia has 30.7 cameras per 1,000 people. San Francisco. I thought I felt something on my leg. San Francisco has 25.4 cameras per 1,000 people. And then, of course, number 5, the lowest. I should have went the other way around. No big deal. Denver, Colorado has 20 cameras per 1,000 people. So those are the 5 cities that are literally just data swamping your entire life. And so I'm going to see what Mary says here. Mary said that it's going to take some big events to scare the public enough to actually accept the cameras. Kind of wonder what that even might be. So I'm going to do another thing right here. Let's do this. I want to do a share. Let me see. I'm going to do this one. And let's check this out really quick. Oh, where's my volume at? Where is my volume at? Hold on, let me get the volume up on this.
We are, as you know, there are very interesting things that we are exploring right now with AI. Code has already looked at a software that will put cameras on trash trucks that drive up and down every single street. And that software has the ability to identify bad roofs, broken windows. We could easily, if we deploy this, we could look at saying, tell us when there's construction material at the curb. Because if someone's got an entire tub and a kitchen at their curb, it's likely they're doing a remodel that that needs a permit. So we're not there yet. We've demoed it and we've looked at it. The issue then becomes, well, what if we get 3,000 of them a week? Then we don't even have a manpower issue to resolve. So we're exploring how and to best deploy it, figuring out what the costs are. But there are some very unique and innovative AI software tools that are coming out to help code with some of these issues.
What about like heftier fines on the people that are cut?
Sir, we can have a conversation offline when we're done here shortly and be more than happy to.
So that was Cape Coral. Well, there we go. That was Cape Coral. And that's where there's a whole bunch going on right now. Cape Coral is just right on the other side of the state for me. I am in Fort Lauderdale. Cape Coral is just a couple-hour drive, depending on how fast you drive. If you're a slower driver, it's about 3 hours. But they're talking about just one singular thing. They're talking about the garbage trucks. They're talking about I'm going to get to you right there in 1 second here on that, brother. But so now we're just talking about the garbage industry, and they're going to use the garbage industry to determine what is on your lawn, to determine if you have permits to do things. And so that is, again, I don't know where the legalities are, right? And I think what I need to do is have an attorney on, and I'm copying and pasting that right now, John, and I'm going to put that right over here. And I'm going to see info. I'm going to put info because I want to see what that is. So he brought up in the chat room, John Rodriguez, he said, have you ever heard of the OFB, the Presidential Intelligence Advisory Board is or does? I guarantee I have. But I'm going to assume there's some kind of relevancy to what's going on here. Because obviously Trump doesn't seem to have a big problem with this happening right now. Only people that seem to have something that's an issue with this is the American citizen. Any big company that can benefit from this loves the idea. Garbage companies love the idea because the city can utilize the garbage trucks to sit here and determine who needs permits. He straight up said that they can find so many violations that they don't have enough staff. Let me see. Let me pull this over here, brother. It says the President's Intelligence Advisory Board is an independent body inside the executive office of the president, up to 16 private citizens outside government who advise the president directly on how well the intelligence community is doing its job. It doesn't run operations. It's a review and recommended function, assessing the quality and adequacy of intelligence collection, the effectiveness of agency structure and management, and whether the IC is planning well for future threats. It has broad access to classified information to do this and report findings to the president at least twice a year. Its Intelligence Oversight Board specifically watches for IC activities that violate the constitutional status, executive orders, and refer likely legal violations to the Attorney General. Trump's reconstituted the board in February 2025, naming Devin Nunes as chair, with members including Robert O'Brien, Priebus, Berman, Westrup, and several others, and functions as it was always structured. An advisory board, not an operational agency. Interesting. Lawyers. You moved. Did I move? What'd I do? John? Did I move? Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out what the relevancy here is with the advisory board. Are they advising that this is good, or are they advising that this is bad? They're all attorneys, so they're all going to use language that most common Americans don't really know. So yeah, I mean, I'll look deeper into that. It's just kind of tough when you're doing a live show and then trying to find out new information. So right here, I have it. Section 24220 of the 2021 Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, the bipartisan bill Biden signed in November 15, 2021, ordered NHTSA to write a new federal motor vehicle safety standard mandating advanced drunk and impaired driving prevention technology in every new passenger vehicle. This is This is the one that I think everybody was kind of pissed off about. And then it went away, and then it's coming back. This one here, I got a huge. I was literally talking to a bunch of people about this today. You could be tired. You could have allergies. All the different things where they can dictate whether they're going to shut your car down or not. Advanced drunk and impaired driving prevention technology in every new passenger vehicle. It doesn't specify one technology. It just requires that new cars passively detect impairment either through blood alcohol concentration or through impaired driving performance without the driver having to do anything. No blow and go breathalyzers, nothing. That mandate has now outlived a presidential transition. On February 3rd, 2026, Trump signed the Consolidated Appropriations Act 2026, and it left Section 24220 funding and legal requirements intact. Notably, a floor amendment from Representative Massey, Perry, and Roy to strip the mandate's funding failed 164 to 268. No wonder why they radicalized Massey. No wonder why they do that. Where am I at? With 57 Republicans voting against their own party's amendment, assigned this. Oh my goodness! This is making me itch. It really is. This is making me itch. On the hardware, the leading approach uses infrared cameras mounted on the steering column or a pillar, continuously reading eye movement, pupil behavior, and head position to flag drowsiness or impaired in real time. No physical test required. NHTSA missed its statutory deadline. The law required a final rule by November 15, 2024. As of its March 2026 report to Congress, no proposed or final rule exists. NHTSA owns research, hasn't identified commercially available technology that passively and accurately detects impaired at scale. And automakers have pushed back specifically on false positive risk. A system that wrongly disables a sober driver's car is its own liability and PR problem. On cost and timing, estimates put that added hardware at $100 to $500 per vehicle with rollout targeted for model year 2027. The safety case argued fairly. Advocates, including MAD, put the political toll at the potential toll at 9,000 to 10,000 lives saved annually. See, this is the part here. I'm going to stop here for 1 second, and then I'll go back into the comments here. Let me stop here for 1 second. You start getting organizations like MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. You start getting all these organizations, man. I understand what they're trying to sell, but see, this is the problem. This is why I said sometimes empathy is too toxic, right? Empathy and compassion sometimes can be toxic, dangerous, and deadly. When you start, I understand, there's the tragedies that happen, right? When it comes to irresponsible people getting into a vehicle and bad things happening. I understand that. John mentioned earlier that, this all kind of started back during 9/11 and starting to use 9/11 as a weapon to come up with new laws, the Patriot Act, all these different things that they can do to protect the American citizen. If they think somebody's a terrorist, they can go into any country and they can go do whatever they have to do to get these terrorists out. They sit here and they try to use the Kool-Aid that, it's going to save people's lives. So this is where I run into the conflict with this. We're giving up our legitimate what freedoms we have left. And people some people are gonna drink the Kool-Aid. They're gonna find all the excuses on why this is good and not care at all about becoming a slave into an already enslaved system. I kind of believe that we're not as free as we think we are. We haven't ever been as free as we think we are. And even with those limitations of freedom that we've had in the past, those limitations are even being taken away. So I'll ask people, what is your definition of freedom? What is your definition of freedom? That you can go work a job? People in China work a job. People in Russia work a job. What do we have differently in this country. I'll say one thing, the Second Amendment. But what do we have in this country to where other countries don't have? We have the same corrupt politicians. I mean, what do we have? And it's not, I'm not being negative, right? I'm trying to have a legitimate thought process here out loud with everybody here. Because like I said, all this information is new to me. I know about the cameras. I know about the dangers of them, but I didn't know about the deep politics. And John, you're right, dude. I mean, you start going back and all this started during the Biden administration. So all this is the boiling frog effect, right? So they've been trying to do this for a long time already. And so you're going to have some people say, well, you know, it could be a false positive. We'll have more false positive situations and we'll have positive situations probably. I'm going to see what Morgan Snow here. She says the insurance companies will love that. Also, your cat isn't yours anymore. True. That's very true. Cat car. So I used to say I'd be driving an old truck until the doors fall off, and now I guess I'll just reattach the doors and keep it going as long as it rolls. So what happens, you know, if that's actually a really good point. You know, what's going to happen, because, you know, Obama had the buyback program with the vehicles. Is there going to be another one of those for any cars that are going to be before a certain year, or is it going to be mandatory that we start getting these in all our cars? It's already going to be on dump trucks. It's already going to be on UPS vehicles. It's already going to be on the stop signs. It's already going to be everywhere we go. So where do we escape, right? Where do we escape? As a matter of fact, there was another video I actually wanted to, where is it? Oh, hey, babe, will you send me that video of that one guy, please, that you were watching earlier, if you can find it? There's another part too where they're surveilling gun ranges, and some of these places, boat landings in the middle of nowhere. They got these cameras, and now I'm starting to see people like in Stillwater, Minnesota. You can get aerial views of where all these cameras are now. Where do we draw the line when it comes from a protected constitution where we have legitimate freedom to the surveillance state? I mean, where does the American people, are we that far gone? Honest question. Are we that far gone as a society to where people would give up their liberties for safety? And I don't even see safety in this, because there's really, I mean, they'll sell you safety. They'll sell you, you know, the drunk driving, the impaired driving. They'll sell you that ticket. But this is enforcement. You know, and like one guy said from the city of Cape Coral, he said that you're guilty until proven innocent. We just heard this gentleman here say he's from a company that is a waste management company. Wow, that was loud. All right, let me pull this up. Let's check this out here, and then we'll continue this. I'm all over the board with this because this is all fresh to me. So I'm going to pull this up here. I'm going to pause it real quick before it starts playing. I was quick on that. I'm proud of myself. So let's catch this before I go any further here, because I want to keep up with the comments on this. Murray said he's okay. I got that. Mary, God dang, I'm all over the board. All right. Or they will find something that you have installed. Another good point, Morgan. That's another good point. So let me go here. Let me go here. I got to move this up here. And let's check this out. I'm going to share this. I think it's this one. Yep. Let's check this out. Let's go. Oh, volume again.
For keeping a list of gun owners. Jacksonville was the latest one. They are getting sued for keeping a list of registered gun owners. What I found today in the great state of Florida, the mass surveillance state of Florida, is this. This is the Ocala Public Shooting Range. If you've ever been there and you're a firearms owner, you're tracked. And if you haven't been there, don't go, because this is the reason why. On this wonderful forest road coming in, there's one tag reader there. And as you leave, there's another tag reader right there. So if you've entered this gun range and you had firearms, there is likely a list with your name on it saying that you came to the gun range and you're a possible candidate for owning firearms. But what I don't understand is, why do they have to have two of them? If you're coming in, they got you. And if you're going out, they got you. Do you need to have the time that they were there? What is the point of this? What is the point of two tag readers? This is about $400 a month, or, $4,800 a year to the taxpayer. I don't know if this is state or Ocala Police Department, but there you have it. This is not the only gun range that has been tracked. There has been other methods that they've used before, like sign-in sheets and logs. But this one here, this one's dangerous. I want to thank you guys for watching, liking, and subscribing. And for those who say, if you don't do anything wrong, you don't have anything to worry about, just give up your constitutional rights for everything. I'll see you soon.
All right, thoughts. I need your thoughts. You guys tell me your thoughts. Oh, manual bikes too, John. Damn, John. Dude, I didn't even think about that either. I didn't think about that. What are your thoughts, though? So this gun range, has a camera going in and a camera going out. So somebody, and even if you're going to be listening in the future, you're going to be listening to the podcast, tell me your thoughts. Leave a comment wherever you are. I got my family here, right here, in the live YouTube recording. What are your thoughts on why? Do you think they're tracking how long you're there? And maybe counting. I don't know. I know why the one camera would be there, but why would there be two cameras there? That's pretty fascinating to me. But what is there about those cameras that it's necessary to be in the middle of somewhere, in the backwoods? If it's a safety thing, why the gun ranges? Why the gun ranges? And why the boat ramps? Lisa showed me another video earlier about a guy talking about these cameras are literally like, I think it was here in Florida as well, back in the literally in the middle of nowhere, in the Everglades, and the boat ramps had the same system. They had these cameras at the boat ramps. So I'm trying to find the legitimacy. I'm trying to figure out ways for me to entertain this intellectually with a government official without saying it's all bullshit, right? Without saying that we're becoming slaves to a government that's supposed to be a servant of the people, right? Technology, this is why the data centers are so important. This is why this is why they're willing to destroy our water systems all over the country. They're willing to destroy our water systems all over the world so they can put these data centers in, because of the amount of data that they're going to be collecting on every fucking movement that we take. They will know when we sleep. They will know when we wake up. And what's the purpose of that? That's not security to me. You know what security is to me? Is being left the fuck alone. Really, to be honest with you, that's my security. And we talked about this the other day. As somebody who has more leaning conservative values, the biggest thing I want in my life is to be left alone. We were staying at an Airbnb once, and the neighbor had a camera. He was angling in his yard, but without a doubt, the angle of his camera was reaching our pool. And it's just like, okay, so when my wife decides to go swimming, that means somebody could have access to just sit there and watch her in her bikini and swim. That's a violation of my privacy. So where do we start drawing the line with that, right? And I think that's why I brought up earlier, like those citizen journalists that sit there on corners with cameras. And because it's their freedom, First Amendment freedom, where do we draw the line with the fact that somebody can just put a camera in your face and invade your personal privacy, your personal space? Because I'm standing on a public sidewalk, now I don't have those rights. Same thing with the meta glasses. Everybody's wearing them now. So it's just like everywhere we go, somebody is recording us on their glasses. So we can't eliminate it, but how do we fix it? How do we find our privacy as an individual? Because I'll pull my... Oh, she sent me something. How are we supposed to, let me get out of here. How are we supposed to have and find our own privacy when, oh, okay. This is the one of the former cop. So I'm going to play this one, but I forgot what I was asking now. ADHD just kicked in. This is the first time it happened this week because I want to hear what this video has to say. So let me stop it here real quick. Right there. Let me make sure that let's check this out really quick. Because this is all like breaking information to me, but it's not breaking information, you know? So let's go. Let's check it. I'm going to go here. Video. Whoop. No, I'm not. Sorry. That was not a glitch in the camera. We had an issue with the video yesterday. Everything's good. Everything's good. Let me go share. This stuff it's kind of it's pissing me off, really. I'm trying not to get myself in trouble with some of the shit I'm saying, but the shit's really starting to piss me off, right? I'm sick of, there is no privacy unless I go find a fucking mountain and go inside that cave. There could be one of those cameras in there. Who fucking knows? I don't know. Let's see. Let me go here. Let's check it out. Come on, let's go.
If you want to come down and have a beautiful day at the beach, you are going to be tracked coming in and coming.
All right, I'm going to say this, the beach. All right. So again, I know some people don't mind sharing their ass with the world, but you know, some other people are a little private about this stuff, right? So yeah, I don't know. It's a beach, so I guess I'm being a little too much here, but let's continue.
Coming out. There's one over there, and there's this one here. These are the flock tag readers, and they're at every single beach approach, every single one of them. This one here has got some new technology on it. I don't know if those are battery packs, but these guys, that little rectangle up there and this rectangle up here, had not been on there previously. And then it looks like there is a transmitter that is sending data. I don't know, maybe over there, maybe there's a Wi-Fi node over this way. But that's it right there. This is some of the new technology. Look at this camera up here. Isn't that crazy? Look at it right there. That's getting off the beach.
So I'll ask this real quick. What do you think? And I promise you guys, your comments, what time is it? Okay, so we got a little bit of time here. I want your comments. So whatever you feel about this, however you feel about this, put it in the chat right now while we're live. And as soon as we get done with this video, I'm gonna go into the comments here. I got a whole bunch of actual data. I think we've all been there, and I could read stuff for hours in regards to legal stuff and lawyer talk and jargon. I'm gonna finish this video, and I want to come back because I need to know, man. I need to know what you think. I need to know. I don't care if you're watching the live recording. I don't care if you're listening to this on iHeartRadio, wherever you're listening. Leave a comment because I need to hear from people. I need to hear from people like us. And I need to hear, because these aren't license plate readers. These are like, I don't know. I thought we were being conquered by people from other countries, but we're being conquered by our own fucking government. But anyways, let me digress. Let me go get a drink or something and let's finish this video.
There's the other one up there.
And mind you, this guy here is a former cop. So for the record, this is coming from a former police officer.
And then they have another set of cameras over here that's checking people getting off the beach, and a 360 one. Yeah, look at this one behind me right here. This is another flock safety. Let me show you it. As you can see, this one is a super telephoto lens right there, solar powered. And where is it at? This is just in a simple parking lot. This is what mass surveillance is. They are an AI technology company. And this right here, this thing right now is facing towards, whatever business out here, maybe Lee Nails. Maybe it's facing towards Here USA or one of these over here that they're constantly watching that company. For what though? Another one there. So what about if you want to come to the park and bring your child? That's Whistle Stop Park in Edgewater. Got this report vandalism, but up here we have at the entrance a flock camera. And right here we have another flock camera, but this is facing the basketball court. You can see that setup right there is what it is. Solar panel, batteries, the basketball court.
Irregardless, wherever it is, basketball courts, beaches, what is their justification for going to all these areas? Because it is literally getting the data of every single face that's there. Is it to find bad guys? Right. I mean, the millions and billions of dollars that we invest in law enforcement and all the technology that they already have. Is this the answer? Is this the answer where we need mass surveillance, where we literally strip our entire security away just to be protected from a lot of these fucking animals that are roaming the street? Is this the answer? Because to me, it's not. To me, it's not.
And then we come down here and there's another one that's stacked up here that looks like it's facing this direction, just maybe kind of downward. If you look at that close up, you can see that it's kind of pointed down, so maybe catching the building.
Yeah, but it can actually catch a lot. If anybody has security cameras, I'm going to stop this one because I got a couple more that just came in. Let me go here. Let me open this one up here. This is incredible. I'm actually getting really pissed off during this right now. Okay, this one here, Lisa just sent me, and this is the one that we want to watch. So let me open this up here. And then let's go to here and here.
Breath of fresh air, in or out without us knowing.
Chrisana Elzer learned the power of flock firsthand.
You were in town from 11:52 until 12:09. Exactly. Like I said, nothing gets in or out of the town without us knowing.
When a Colorado police officer showed up at her door holding flock snapshots of her truck.
And here's when you left at 12:09. That's when you left town.
To get?
No, to stop at Ridge Trail.
Wait a minute.
And take a package. Well, there's no shushing. I don't need to be.
I need to know where this is.
The first thing he pulled out on the
and honestly, I love law enforcement, right? I've always supported law enforcement, but we're getting a new breed of law enforcement where they're having this little pompous fucking attitude, no shushing, this posturing bullshit. It's gonna start borderlining some Gestapo shit. And I'm not even exaggerating this bullshit. It's going to start exaggerating. It's going to start becoming more of a Gestapo type of fucking law enforcement in this country because they have the power of these cameras. So it's just like you can't even when you're telling the truth, they're going to make you feel like you're fucking lying because look, I got the piece of paper and here's your license plate when you're coming in town and no, shush, don't shush me, motherfucker. I will shush you, bitch.
The body cam is that flock picture, the clear photograph of your car.
But here's your vehicle in the neighborhood many, many times, apparently casing houses because you just can't drive through for work or visit other businesses. You can only be casing houses.
It is her. It is 100%. It is locked in. There is zero doubt. I wouldn't have come here unless I was 100% sure. 100%. It is certain. It is on video. You're obviously welcome to go to court.
Chrisana was charged with stealing a package, but it wasn't her. The porch pirate was somebody else. Multiple times you tried to show him your video evidence. He didn't want to see it.
Even when I called him back, he said, that's not my job.
You looked at a time of a crime. You saw my vehicle entering in the flock.
No, what I did was I did an investigation.
You called my wife a liar. You said this is fact.
I have video evidence. I don't know what you want me to say.
The charges were dropped after Chrisana spent weeks trying to get the police chief to look at her evidence. Time-stamped video from her truck and a neighbor's doorbell camera showing she wasn't at the scene of the crime. What does it say about where we are that you feel you have to have more cameras than the police have in order to make sure you can prove yourself innocent?
It sounds like it flipped the script to you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent.
Without a flock camera, that detective would not have been at her door. By his own admission, he pulled out the flock picture of her car. Do you want to apologize to Chrisana Elzer for what happened to her?
For the police misusing the tools? I don't think that I have to apologize.
He wasn't charged with a crime. He wasn't, other than being reprimanded for his attitude.
Sure. No, but I would tell you that, should I apologize for somebody misusing a tool? I don't think so.
Flock safety chief.
Yeah, you should.
Communications Officer Josh Thomas.
Who's watching the watchers in these cases?
Exactly. Who's watching the watchers? Great fucking question. I see. I'm getting my face is fucking starting to hurt. I'm getting pain in my eyeballs over this shit.
Well, the city council, the city owns the data, so city council would have the appropriate responsibility in that case. Our point of view has always been that it is not Flock's job to police the way police do their work.
We have cameras everywhere in that town. You can't get a breath of fresh air in or out without us knowing. We have cameras everywhere in that town. You can't get a breath of fresh air in or out without us knowing.
Oh, wow. I wasn't, see, you know, this is kind of like yesterday talking about the alien abduction. I wasn't psychologically prepared for the alien having sex with a man and getting pregnant. But I am definitely not. See, this is the part where I start getting super irritated. So we can watch the arguments and we can read the articles, you know, about, you know, MAD and Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and we can hear how they're for this because they want to stop drunk driving. We can hear the arguments of the city wanting to put things on garbage trucks because they want to make sure that, you know, if you're throwing certain things away, that means you're remodeling and you're illegally remodeling. See, listen to the shit I'm saying. Listen to the bullshit I'm saying. You're illegally remodeling your house because daddy didn't give you fucking permission and you didn't go spend $400 on that fucking permit to make sure, you know, you could remodel your own house. No different than the guy up in Mille Lacs Lake who had a windmill, a little windmill on his freaking property that produced energy. He was forced to take it down. They threatened him to like 2 years or 3 years in prison. And so he took it down, and because he didn't remove the concrete block, they were going to arrest him because the concrete block was still there that this windmill was sitting on. He had to get rid of that too. Otherwise, they're going to put him in prison. And that was 4 or 5 years ago. So, John, I'm going to go back to you, brother, because I think you're right, man. I think that this is like a post 9/11 reaction of the surveillance state, starting out with the Patriot Act and the slow boiling frog effect all the way up until now. Because like I said, and I'm going to be totally honest with you, I follow certain things, but it for some reason, what this feels like to me is that this just came out of nowhere, right? Even though we know that they were doing them, we know that they have the stoplight one, the cameras. We know that they have them on the highways at the toll booths. If you drive through a toll booth, they'll take a quick snapshot of your license plate. Should we have never accepted that? You know what I'm saying? Should we have never accepted that? Because that is in its own form, a form of surveillance. They know where you are. They knew when you drove through a certain area because of the toll booths. But the part where I start getting really fucking irritated, like I am right now, actually, is when you start seeing the Gestapo. And, you know, that dude, you know, with his dark hair, you know, I mean, I had things in my brain that I really wanted to say. And then his little sassy ass little attitude when he's sitting there and doesn't feel like he needs to apologize because he falsely accused somebody, and not just in a day. This went on to where she had to literally fight for weeks to prove her innocence. Guilty until proven innocent. You remember what I said the other day? A republic, ma'am. A republic, if you can keep it. Does our republic still exist? Because in a surveillance state, there's nothing to me constitutional about the surveillance state. Now we're getting this new form of police officer that, man, they love their power. And they're not like the old school officers, man. These guys, it's like they just love being these fucking monsters. And it's just like, you know, I guess even in like management, you know, just the way that we treat people, the way that we treat human beings, it's different. It's different. You know, in companies, we used to have human resources, and now human resources that used to be a resource for the employees has now become the resource for the corporation to figure out legal ways to fire fucking people, to treat people like shit, but they still preach the integrity. But in the back end, they're firing people and they love their job because they get to fire people. So I'm going to go into comments here, and I'm going to read, and you know, that's another thing John said about the bikes. It's like these cameras are going to be everywhere. So I just want to ask you guys, where's our privacy? I mean, what if I wanted to go to a beach with Lisa, you know, late night and have a little fire and you know, I mean, we're just flirting around. Would they send us tickets, or would the Gestapo come and show up and arrest us for indecent exposure? Because, oops, I mean, I grabbed a butt cheek or something. It's where can you go now? And it's so much farther than that, right? It's so much deeper than that. It's so much bigger than that, because of the fact is that the gun ranges, they have a camera on the way in and a camera on the way out. They have these at boat launches. What do they give a shit about people at boat launches for? I mean, what kind of criminal is going to a boat launch? You know who's going to the boat launches? Is you guys know, the same people that go to gun ranges are the people that are pro-Constitution, people that are outdoorsmen, people that love the freedom of the air. They love the freedom of life. They love going out in the woods. They love hiking. They love camping. They love hunting. They love fishing. That breed of human is a different breed of human. Those are the pro-Second Amendment individuals. And those are the individuals that probably in a lot of ways are very strong in their Christianity. And those are the people that will resist the system. So honestly, to the government, conservatives are probably the biggest threat. Libertarians are probably the biggest threat. People that think like we think, you know what I'm saying, are probably the biggest threat to this system, because I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of people on the left that are going to be all for the fucking surveillance state. And now they're coming up with masks. I saw that today. It's a mask it's a fucking like a spaceship mask that you put over your face so these cameras can't detect who you are. When I saw that, I'm like, we're already way past where we should be. If we're already coming up with cameras that we need to put over our face so we're not detected by the surveillance system, we've already fucking lost. It's already too far in. It's already happening. It's already too big. And why did none of us see this coming? And I know, and understand my sense when I say we didn't see it coming. I sure as fuck didn't see this. I know we've talked about it for years, but it's like maybe I was too busy thinking about data centers and thinking about Iran and the Russia bullshit and our economic system. Maybe just trying to figure out how to live, because most families in this country have to work 2 jobs just to be fucking broke. And sometimes when you get caught up in that life, it's kind of hard to pay attention to the movement. And I think a lot of people are in my situation where we're sitting here fighting life. And one day we wake up and we are surrounded by camera systems. We're surrounded by the surveillance state, and it's troubling me tremendously. So I'm going to kind of go down here. Morgan said that, they'll find something that you have to install. And I know we have the phones. They follow us on the phones, and, they act like it's for our own good. I've shut my tracking system off on my phone. I don't know about you guys, but I shut that off. Lisa does the same thing. But, I mean, do we really shut it off? Because for some reason, when I go to Home Depot and I go check my Facebook, I'm getting Home Depot advertisement. So even when I have my shit shut off, it still seems to find me, Mary says right here, she says, I don't think most people actually care. They'd rather keep doom scrolling while sitting on the couch than try to pay attention to what's going on. And Mary, that's a good point. Are people afraid of the truth? Or are people afraid to lose what little they have? An honest question, because I don't even know the answer anymore. I really don't. We haven't had nothing for 2 years. And I know there's a lot of people in my circle. We fight every day just to survive. Just to figure out how to fucking buy bread and hot cocoa. I love hot cocoa. I love popcorn too. Big fan of it. We're out, by the way. Just let everybody know we're out of popcorn. Got yelled at today because I didn't tell Lisa, but I take that with a grain of salt. But you're right. I think even when it comes to, because I've always wondered that why is it we always have Antifa and Black Lives Matter and all these groups out there blowing shit up and setting cities on fire. And all the conservatives are doing is we're just getting mad and bitching about it. But we really don't do anything to stop anything of our beliefs, because we try to be the better people. We try to handle things, through a legal system, or we try to vote out the problem. It's not working. And one thing I know about my past life, my old life, is that sometimes you need to fight motherfucking evil with evil. Sometimes you need to match that game and play the same game that they play, because for some reason, the wrong people are getting the attention and the right people are the ones being shunned. And all the people that hold the highest standards are being attacked as Nazis, as racists, as some kind of a phobia. And these are people that are just trying to have an intellectual opinion, and they can't even have that anymore. So we've been shut down. We've been completely shut down. And then when we speak against it, we get fucking gaslit as some kind of radical. Let's be radicals. Why don't we just do that? Then why don't we be radicals then? Because I'm sick of the bullshit. I realize how much this system is against me. My wife has learned the last 2 years how much this system is against us. How can you go from a 6-figure job as a manager at a prestige company, you get sick and you get fucking sent into the streets? But you sit here and you're watching illegals in this country live a better life than you, and they don't even have to fucking struggle. We go to the grocery store with a calculator while they're going to the grocery store with 2 fucking carts. I learned real quick what this world really represents. All right, what did Brother John say? We don't have a line, Rocky. Look at computer with an operating system like Windows. Yep. And John, dude, they know everything about us. They know what I'm talking about right now. I've even noticed, brother, on my social media that since I started this program again last week, we just started the show again, man. Last week was this to kind of get the kinks out. This was our first official week. And my algorithm's already smashed. I noticed that, bro. Because you start talking about things like this, there again, they sink you. They kind of suppress you, bro. And it's every direction you look. How many accounts have been shut down over the years talking about COVID, talking about things that have been proven true. But have you or me ever gotten any of our accounts back? I've had huge accounts, and I've never gotten any of that back, even though at the time I was labeled a conspiracy theorist. Everything we talked about was legitimately true, and it's been proven now. But I can't go get my old YouTube channels back. I can't go get my old Facebook stuff back. I can't go get my old pages back. It's just kind of like a fuck you, start over. It's just like, kind of seems like part of the plan. Let's see. Jay here, making sure you leave reasons for 2 cameras tracking. I'm trying to figure that out. And it's a good point. And then I'm thinking too is that are they monitoring how long you're there? Because maybe the longer you're there, maybe you actually have more. If you have a lot of ammunition, do you make your own ammunition? There has to be some kind of like psychology behind the length of time. Because I know when I used to be up in Hudson, Wisconsin, I used to go to the gun range with my buddy Neil. He made his own bullets, and we went with a lot. And we were there for a long time, and it was beautiful, man. It was beautiful. Coming home just smelling like gunpowder, and a gun blew up in my hand once. It was so awesome. It was so awesome. Miss Mary says, I am so glad I live out in Cornfield, USA, where most of my neighbors have. Okay, I picture that just for a second, Mary. I pictured that in a really weird way. But no, I understand. You never know before you know it. Some of those big towers will have, like higher end type of cameras. So they'll be able to do like a remote control, zoom in right on you while you're pooping out in the woods. Just saying. Who knows, let's see. Waymo's driverless taxi. Oh, whoa. Took 2 intoxicated 15 years to the police station in California. All right. Have you ever driven in one? I will. So wait a minute. So a driverless taxi picked up 2 intoxicated people and brought them right to the police station? Is that did I read that correctly? That would be, why would they be brought a public intoxication? Is that what it is now? See, there's another thing, man. Let's see, when you start depending on these driverless cars, and now China actually has frontline robots. What is that? iRobot, that movie? You remember that shit? Shit just became real. And it was really weird is that the robots that China's making, they kind of look like the ones in iRobot. I'm not watching the movie. Don't even ask me to watch the movie. I'm not watching it. All right, let's see what Miss Mary says here. People already voluntarily walk around with smartphones and bring smart appliances home, and computerized cars equipped with GPS and cameras are just the final place in the surveillance puzzle. 100%. 100%. And honestly, You know, like in China, with China being the surveillance state, they have people that walk around with clipboards. You know, when they see somebody that, you know, maybe this doesn't do something that's supposed to be perfect, you know, they'll write that shit down. And so, yeah, man, we have a nation of snitches too. There's a big population of people out there that would have absolutely no problem on ratting your ass out. You know, if you jaywalked, if you didn't pick up that tissue, or if your dog took a piss on the sidewalk and, you know, you didn't spray it down or something. So we always have to remember that if we have Gestapo police officers, then we're going to have Gestapo citizens too. I mean, remember what happened in France? You know, when France was liberated, the French people went after all the women that were, you know, banding up with all the German soldiers. You know, so no matter whatever happens, there's always going to be a population of citizens that'll always support the enemy. 100%. And it's unfortunate that we're to a point now to where even when you use the term enemy, you're even referring to your own government. Legitimately, because it bothers me that if we sit here and we wave the American flag so much and we preach a constitution so much, then why are we letting our rights be violated in such a harsh way? And then when we get mad about it, we're just a radical citizen. You know, we're just a radical citizen. Remember, I said this a million times. Radicalism is now the new patriotism, and patriotism is the new radicalism. That's the scary part. All of these cameras are probably communicates with all of our bro, without a doubt. It probably pings. Our phones probably ping these cameras, and you're probably right. It probably downloads data. You know, the whole TikTok thing with China, that was the biggest farce in my life, man. There's all these other apps that are taking as much information as TikTok was. Facebook's one of them. Instagram's another one. YouTube is another one. Don't want to say that too loud. You know what I mean? Tracking everyone's smartphones, events included, 100%, everywhere we go. So where do we draw the line? Let me go. I want to get all these comments here. Mary says that I think this is where we need to remind people to vote in local elections. The government closest to you is the one that will screw you over the fastest. That is a damn fact. And that's so where you saw that video I played earlier of that guy talking about the dump trucks or the garbage trucks. That was in Cape Coral. I actually have another article open here. I'm not going to cover it, but that was from Cape Coral as well. The citizens of Cape Coral are resistant like a son of a bitch. They're pissed because that entire town, Lisa, and again, Lisa she told me about all this today. I didn't even know about what was going on at Cape Coral. The entire town is full of these cameras, and these people are just livid. And God bless them for having the balls, because they are making the city council's life a nightmare. And Mary, to piggyback what you said, that's what we need to do. We need to become so inconvenient to them and such a nuisance to them that the same thing with the data centers, right? The same thing with the data centers. Whatever happened to the global warming and the catastrophic destruction that these data centers have on the planet? All of a sudden, we don't care about none of that shit, right? All of a sudden, it's just like we teach people how to think differently, and they just jump right to it. And all of a sudden, our entire ideology has changed. We're no longer fucking warming. Just like that. Where's Greta Thunberg or whatever her name is? You know, where's she protesting this shit? She's not. She's not. All right. So, yeah. And John says, Rocky, we are supposed to have privacy on these devices. Well, it's not working here. I don't know why it didn't work, John. I'm trying, brother. Oh, there we go. He says, Rocky, we're supposed to have privacy on these devices that we buy. And bro, you know, I believe the same thing, you know, and that's what we want to think. We want to think that there's a way that we can, you know, shut certain features off on our phones, and that there's ways that we can shut off on our computer. We thought that, and we're being proven wrong in every aspect. And it's like the nightmare conspiracy that we talked about this entire time for years. We've talked about this. I mean, my God, this was a big Alex Jones talking point probably 15 years ago. The surveillance state is coming, and everybody looked at him as a radical. See, now you know why people like Alex Jones has been demonized, and they poke fun at him to look like this radical conspiracy theory, because he's been right about 90% of everything he's ever talked about. Literally, even the gay frogs, 100%. 100% right. It's crazy. What do we got here? Ding. Oh, what do we got? We got Brett here from Australia. All right, I got a problem with, I know what my computer's doing here. It gets locked up a little bit when I get down to the bottom of the chat. Brett, I'm trying to get to you here, buddy. He said, I'm sorry, dude. Every time I scroll down, Brett, I can't. There we go. I'm trying to get to you, bro. When I get to this one certain spot, it glitches on me. I'm not really happy with this software, bro. I'm trying to get to you. He says, do yourself a favor and look at the Fabian Society. Their logo is the wolf and with the sheep pelt on the back. What does that mean, bro? What does that mean? A sheep and a wolf. Sheep and a wolf. I get it, bro. I hope you're well, Brett. Brett's all the way over there in Australia, man. I'm glad you're here, brother. Folks, I went over on time. I don't even know what time it is, but I know I went over on time. So let's I'm probably going to follow up on this next week. This will give me over the weekend to do a little bit more research. I'm going to get some more data from around the country. I'm going to start looking at what places are resisting, what places aren't. I think on this program, this is something that we should keep tabs on at least once a week. We don't have to do a full episode, but I think that we need to really follow these things now because this is real life stuff. And I'm not trying to be an alarmist. I don't think at all I've been alarmist about this. I've been frustrated with it. I think it's bullshit. I don't like the mentality of these Gestapo police officers. But I don't want to be an alarmist. I want to educate myself and through the process, share what I'm learning with all of you. I guess that's the best way to put it because I do not have half the information that I should have or any American should have. We're so restricted on it almost. So as I develop and understand more what's happening here, I think we should all develop together. So I love you guys. I try to fly through this as quick as I could. There's a lot to talk about, and it's disturbing. Stick with me on this. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, the Rocci Stucci Show, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, right here. We got a live recording on the YouTube channel. If you can't catch a live recording, you can always listen to any podcast on any platform. Just search for the Rocci Stucci Show. I'm on iHeart, iTunes, you name it. I'm everywhere. Just Google it. I'll put the links in the description as well. But I appreciate you guys, and let's keep tabs on this, and let's fight through this together. This is real life, man. This is real life, and things have become a little disturbing in this country, especially with all the things going on with China, with Russia, with Iran, Turkey. We got things going on with Europe right now. I kind of think we're going for a great reset. I think we're almost there. I'm worried about the financial system. I'm worried about my friends. I'm worried about a lot of you. You guys are worried about me. We're just trying to survive, and it's like the more we think we're combating things, they continue to happen. And sooner or later, we just got to get pissed, I think. I'm just saying, in a peaceful way. Of course, hugs. We just go out and hug people and be like, we're mad. Give me a hug. You know what I'm saying? Give me a hug. We're super mad. All right, folks. Hey, I love you. This is the Rocci Stucci Show, StucciMedia.com. If you need any kind of media work, if you need any kind of audio work, video work, graphic work, anything, it don't matter. One-stop shop. I got you covered. We can come up with some great plans and strategies too. StucciCreations.com. So with that being said, folks, I love each and every one of you. I do. Most of you, at least. From my family to yours, much love, much respect. And always remember, rule number 1, we don't take shit from nobody. Good night, everybody. I love you guys.